site to the popular Hearthstone site, iHearthU.com, just as dedicated to bringing you the Dota 2 content you deserve. So be sure to go check out fountaindive.com right now. They have a brand spanking new Pudge guide that you can check out. Also, of course, presented by us over at HighGround.TV. So let's go ahead and start things off with our usual introductions. I am going to be your host again, and local mana giver, Dakota, KOTLGuy. Thank you so much. I just imagine there's a big wealth of applause right there for me. I'm just going to go with that. Joining me in my, thank you, Greg, my duo setup, again, as always, a man who is the badass of Boom and fantastically good at getting bodied in Prince of Persia, Mr. Travis Maut Bueno. Welcome
that
back,
last
my
part,
friend.
That wasn't necessary. All right,
Listen,
I worked
dude,
hard.
You're on the road. 2017 Prince of Persia speedrunning champion. It's going to happen.
You know,
he's gonna be the only one.
Okay, Greg. All right, listen, you can all fuck off. All right, I work really hard on that game. It's a game that I really enjoy, and you're just shitting on me, but it's okay. Thanks for having me, Dakota.
We
and everybody.
appreciate the effort, Maut, and you can check him out over on his channel, twitch.tv/MautDota2, if you want to see those fantastic Prince of Persia fails. Also going to be joining us, of course, a man notoriously known for gurging things left, right, and center. You can see that, of course, on our recent Canada Cup cast. And a man who we also say is Charles Barkley's #1 fan. It's Mr. Greg. WhatIsHip TV? How you doing, buddy? He's in a great mood today. The best mood ever.
It's been a rough week for me, attitude-wise. I've had some rage sessions, and I'm hoping they don't spill over to the show, but apologies in advance for anything that may occur. I'm not sorry. I'm actually not sorry at all, to be honest with you.
If you have anything that needs seasoning, bring it to the cast, because this man's salty as ever, and he's going to be drowning everything with it, I'm sure. But it's all about our special guest this week, and this man had got his start casting in Han as part of the casting trio GLHF, or the Good Luck Have Fun casting crew. But then once Dota 2 landed, he started producing his own content, and to this day, some of the best reviews in Dota media anyone could come across. You might have also seen him casting side by side and playing with respected Dota figures Cinderin in his A to Z challenge and working with TI4's fun newbie stream. You can catch his work and a bunch of fantastic content over at www.dotacinema.com. Centaur fanboy and flatulent master, ladies and gentlemen, it's SUNSFan. How's it going, Shannon?
Hello, everybody. I have to say, the best medicine for rage, Greg, is taking a huge rage dump. Have you done that yet?
Yeah. Is this fueled by cherry Pepto-Bismol?
Yeah, and it has to be a little bit bloody as well. Just
Oh
to let you know.
God!
No, definitely not had that.
Sorry, I had to get that out of the way at the beginning so that we can transition to better things.
I can appreciate a guy. I'm one known for my PSPs, you know, the pre-show poops, if you will. I'm good about making sure I'm nice and fresh. SUNSFan, I heard you're a part of that as well, right?
That was only for the captain's draft. When I was doing TI, I had no issues. I don't know. I have no idea where that came from, to be honest.
I think it's okay. It's healthy. It's regular. You know, you want to make sure you're good and ready. Heaven forbid something happens mid-cast.
Ready to go.
It was pretty bad. Dude, I had so much responsibility. In TI, it was just Purge doing everything. I just talk, you know. Captain's draft, I had to head the producer hat as well, so not used to that.
Yeah, operating those XSplit overlays is very stressful.
It was OBS. It was even easier. Boy, tough stuff, man.
A man of many hats, I guess. Boy. Nice producer, media content provider, caster, entertainer. So, love to have you on the show, man. Thanks again. But
thanks
before
for
we go
having
too
me.
much, yeah, of course, my brother. But I know we kind of dodged over that joke and we bought it a bit. But you know, Greg, we know Charles Barkley. People don't understand why you're the #1 fan. You're shaking your head over there, SUNSFan. Can you care to explain why Greg is he loves that man? Charles Barkley, if you didn't know, NBA Hall of Famer. Well-renowned still.
Oh my God. Can everybody in the chat let us know if you know who Charles Barkley is? Because
this is the best story ever.
At the qualifiers, I don't remember the reference at all, but I brought up Charles Barkley for some reason. And
I think we were talking about Space Jam. Maybe not.
We're talking about
something like that.
I don't know. But Greg apparently had no idea who Charles Barkley was, and I was shocked and appalled, and I made a huge deal out of it. And to this day, we still talk about it because it disgusts me on a whole new level.
Well, he also thought we were talking about Gnarls Barkley. That was what made it that much worse.
Yep.
The big rapper guy or whatever.
The crazy guy.
What are you talking about? Well, it doesn't get any better because I found out also recently in one of our casts, he doesn't even know what Killer Instinct is. I played the sound bit Ultra combo, and he didn't know what the hell was happening. So it's
Get out of here.
Well, he's kind of young, so I guess he can understand. I can understand. How he
really
doesn't know what
showing his
Killer
age
Instinct
right now.
I mean, like he's
Sorry,
doing
guys.
Do you know what
I don't know
Super
what to
Mario is by any chance?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good.
I'm aware of that phenomenon.
All right, we love you, Greg. Don't worry about it. So, like we do, we have our special guests in-house, and we like to take advantage of them. We want to be able to start things off with just a nice, brief little Q&A between us gentlemen here before we do open it up to the public. That's right. If you want to be able to put in your own question to us or, of course, to SUNSFan, you can send your questions towards our Reddit post. You can also tweet them at any of us here, preferably these two guys, Mr. WhatIsHip and Mr. Moi Bueno, and they'll be able to get those questions pulled out for you. And at the end of the show, we'll bring them up. But for right now, just between us gentlemen, I'll start things off. So, right now, if you head over to DotaCinema.com, you can catch their most recent video, the Dota 2 Symphony of Fails, episode number 43. I got to watch it. Fun little video right there. And it led me to wonder, SUNSFan, you probably get an insane amount of replays. You get an insane amount of content sent your way from people all over wanting their top plays, wanting their fails, wanting all this stuff put up on your website and, the potential to get that best play ever. How do you exactly handle so much media coming your way? Do you have like a task force that's just, we go through all the videos and we decide what's good and we send it your way for approval? How does that all work?
Well, it's even worse than you would think because every replay expires after 8 days. That was like the worst day of my life when Valve implemented that. So we lose so many replays on top of everything that's sent in. But yeah, we have a bunch of, we call them volunteers, but they're not really volunteers because we pay them at least a little bit in keys. It's something. But
keys, which are worthless now. Yes, have our keys.
Which are literally exiting
keys.
the video game.
That needs to change. Actually, those are going to be worth a lot very soon.
All right.
Once it gets closer to the date when they're expiring. But,
Dota Bitcoin, I guess. All right.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, there's a lot of freaking replay. It is insane how many we get. But the fails are a little bit easier because they're easier to go through because you don't want to kill yourself when you go through them. An example I can come up with is when I used to look at all, like I shouldn't say all, like 50% of the replays we were sent. If I'm looking at fails, it's more casual. You laugh about it. If a play sucks, you're like, okay, whatever. If it's a top play, it's like 99% of them are terrible, like beyond terrible. Like there's an infamous meme. I guess I can't really call it a famous meme, but it's Panda Gain Nothing. You guys probably haven't heard that, but it's when I literally went temporarily insane on stream for like 30 seconds because the play was so bad. Like I had to watch it 3 or 4 times to understand what I was actually looking at. And it was just like the most ridiculously awful thing ever.
Like deny a creep?
Honestly, I don't even remember what it was anymore. It was so bad. Oh no, it was a brewmaster using his ult or something like that. And he like stunned somebody. That was the play. That's the kind of stuff we get sometimes. But it is nice when you get like one awesome play, which is 1 out of 100 probably. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say it makes up for the misery until then, but
you have to have you have to have like an MMR thing, I think. Honestly, you just have to put your MMR in and just be like, do I really want to watch a 3K MMR video where this guy says he's amazing?
This is going to be like the LD video.
Well, sometimes they look better than they are.
Wow.
Based on the discrepancy of the MMR. Like if you have a 3K MMR versus a 1K, sometimes you can get away with a video like that because the guy's that much better, Yeah, if you try to ignore the fail on the other side of the coin, then it'll work out. But
I guess to echo that question, as of lately, have you had an abundance of techies videos then?
I don't really, for the fails, yeah, we have.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard, and I don't really watch that many replays anymore, to be honest. A year was enough for me, I guess. But I've heard for fails, like every other play is a techies right now, which we put one in the last one.
Oh, I think when they put down the clarity?
Yeah.
Oh, that's old school BattleNet tactics. Come on.
I know.
Back in the day, it was just chess. So you'd be like, it could be anything.
It could be anything.
Yeah, I got to get it.
Yeah.
It could be a Reaver. Like, who knows? So it made it that much more tempting. But
that is true.
Regardless, it's a cute tactic. And
so that's basically a nerf to techies in Dota 2 is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now you just put down a stupid flag.
You did a nerf,
does nothing.
Heroes 2 is way too good,
Way too good.
Well, then shout out to the unsung heroes and everyone behind the scenes that have been watching all those videos and dedicating all that time to sifting through them all. So props to them. Greg, got a question here for our main man today.
Make it a rage question, Gerg.
Oh, a salty one, yeah.
So this is actually something we briefly talked about, and by talk I mean I yelled at you about it earlier in the week. But you hosted a tournament, the CD tournament, quite a while back, and obviously mostly you do YouTube videos. So what is it like for you, like setting up that tournament experience? Like what's the pluses and minuses of each? What do you like doing better? Sort of along those lines.
Well, as KOTLGuy alluded to a bit earlier, I started out with competitive stuff in Han. So it was more of a transition doing casual YouTube stuff, but it was always a goal to kind of bridge the gap between competitive and casual, which is what we're starting to do. But I mean, even back then when doing Han, it was very stressful. Even when I wasn't organizing tournaments, it's just like I can only imagine how your guys' lives are when you just cast basically every single day. It's very draining experience when casting. So for me, I think I have the best of both worlds because I get a little bit of that taste, but I don't have to dedicate my life to it per se. Because the YouTube stuff's a lot of fun, the casting's a lot of fun. But if you have too much of one, then it can be overwhelming. But yeah, actual organizing of a tournament, Cinder. I mean, we have a lot of people that help us, obviously. Cinder, Saturday, Neil, and whatnot. But it is definitely stressful when. Okay, I can't talk about that. It's stressful. Gerg knows what I'm talking about. I don't want to bring it up. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Greg's kind of putting on those gloves right now and has his hands
I'm ready,
full.
boys.
Put on Michael Jackson gloves. That would be the
dude.
dream.
Oh, God. Just everything I've touched in the last couple of weeks has been extremely aggravating. And
I'm actually afraid of going to ESL 1 with you because I feel like you're just going to murder somebody. I feel like I'm going to be in that hotel.
I'm going to see someone that I've had a problem with in the last week, and I'm just going to kill them.
You're just going to kill them.
I'm going to bring the body
out.
You know what? I got to show you something real quick. Let's come along the back corner over here.
I'm just going to be like looking around like, I don't know what to do, guys.
It's like there's a body in our bathtub. What do I do?
I don't know how to handle this. So,
yeah. Well, there's what SUNSFan may be alluding to and dodging is there is a certain power that can be occasionally difficult to work with, and I guess we'll leave it at that.
Shots fired.
It's God.
Fair enough. Fair enough. To make things fair.
I mean, I think I did something worse last week, so it's okay.
And touching on the point that you brought up about just doing one thing for just a long time, especially like for casting. Honestly, I don't think it's that bad because we get to watch Dota, which consistently changes. It's only when I see like a Death Prophet every game that I like want to kill myself. I'm just like, that's.
What about Razor at TI4?
I mean, that wasn't.
I don't mind.
That was still fresh. Though. I think at that point, no one was really picking it that much beforehand.
Not if you have to explain the skills every single time.
Well, I mean, that's your problem.
Razor.
Here's Razor. By now, even you noobs probably know what the hell this guy's all about.
I mean, like,
I'm gonna hate that hero for all time because of TI4.
Dakota and I had to say some shit like over and over and over again, but we never had to explain anything like that in depth and like over and over and over like that. So that was nice. But for my question to you was, obviously I was a huge fan of the CD tournament. Like I thought that was the most fresh thing in Dota in years because we get so caught up with like just playing the same old Dota and we talk about monotony and that's one thing. But have you ever thought about expanding outside of CD? I know there was a reverse draft tournament, which was okay. That was hosted by Ham Sandwich for a little bit of time. But just any other general thoughts about doing something that's not CD and if you could talk about it?
We've thought about it, but for the time being, it's like, what's the point? There's so many tournaments, and they're all captain's draft. Like, why enter that arena when we have a good thing going? Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't even call it a niche. Like so many people liked it. It was an experiment to say the least, but I think it was a successful one. And like you said, it freshens it up a bit. And with the upcoming patch, hopefully we can come out with a new captain's draft that'll be better than the first one. But yeah, it's definitely been brought up. And I mean, Cinder and you guys know, obviously cast like pretty much everything. He's not relegated to just CD. I don't really have time to do full-time anything as far as casting because of the YouTube stuff. But for now, I guess just CD for Dota Cinema official tournaments.
All right, great. So that concludes our mini in-house Q&A session. So if you want to ask your own question, tweet them our way right now. Hit them up on the Reddit thread. We'll get to that at the end of the show. So you have your own personal opportunity to ask SUNSFan how his stool looks today. So with the next question, with our next segment, I'm sure it's gonna be fantastic. We want to talk a bit because we have him here, and why not? We got the Dota 2, the ultimate chest, which I thought was just going to be a picture of you shirtless, but actually ends up being a real Dota chest. But
I think Maut has the demographic on.
Yeah, get out of my.
Can you just
get out of my market?
A very rare drop.
This is my territory.
Oh god.
But this is a really awesome idea and extremely original. This chest, the idea, and this is something that actually cannot even be included in the game as it is right now, apparently. I'm sure you could talk more about that, but it's supposed to be about like 10 gems that you can add to the selected heroes. They would benefit the ultimates and have all sorts of really awesome new particle effects. Some of the heroes include Enigma with a really spectacular new black hole effect. Kunkka has like a whole new ghost ship theme. Tidehunter's Ravage now has tentacles. Envy loves that. And then, a few other additions right there, including like Death Prophet and stuff. So some really cool stuff.
Death Prophet.
There's a video. Yeah, right? No, Queen of Pain. I was thinking
it looks like a Death Prophet.
It looks like a Death Prophet Crypt Swarm in my defense.
We can talk about that.
But overall, super cool idea. Right now it's just a part of the workshop. You have to go check it out, vote it up, get Valve to like kind of turn their head and really get that implemented. But SUNSFan, man, the floor is yours to talk about it a little bit more if you want. We only got to see part 1 and only half of the heroes. I don't know if you want to talk about what else is out there.
Can you spoil a hero from the next one?
Let's see.
Don't gurg it up, dude.
Treant Protector.
Ooh. All right.
So the thing I will say about the second half, it's not going to be as mind-blowing as the first because this one had all the AoEs that we're going to use other than Treant Protector. The other ones that we're thinking of, which I can't talk about because we're not sure if we're going to do them yet. Those are the big ultimates already out of the way, so there's no way we can go with that.
Those are all the big teamfight ultimates.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really happy the way the chest was received. There was some hate on the Quap ult, which is understandable to some degree, and actually some of it's being worked on. So the Quap ult is going to be a little bit more defined on the edges, and I'm trying to make the bats, I'm trying to have him change the bats to be like red instead of black. But honestly, there's so much hate on Reddit about the Quap ult looking like Death Prophet Crypt Swarm. I understand that it reminds you of it, but if you actually look at either Crypt Swarm, either the mythical or the immortal or the normal one, there is 0% chance you will ever confuse the two spells. It makes absolutely no sense.
It actually,
I think people are just piggybacking off of that. What's that?
It actually it doesn't look. I don't think it looks anything like Crypt Swarm.
I think it's just people see the bats and they're like, it's Death Prophet.
Yeah,
the only hero could be.
It's just,
there's no separation of concepts.
Yeah,
well,
if you're in the game,
I think
I
agree.
Ever get confused by
I
that?
don't think
Ever?
So.
No. I think it's
going to be tweaked a bit, as well as the black hole was a little bit. It wasn't actually too big. Like if you guys watched it, the radius is actually what the radius is for the black hole, but the original has like some transparent parts around the edge, the outer circle, that are like invisible or whatever. So we got to tweak that a bit.
The black hole is, I think, my favorite. That one's fucking sweet.
Yeah,
I think
when the
like
rocks come in from the outside, holy shit.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
Big fan.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I'll just say that. It's the boat itself was apparently the hardest thing. Kudos to Dry and Aaliyah, of course, for making all this stuff for us. But the boat took 1 month by itself because there's no easy way to make these particles because you have to just do everything behind the scenes kind of thing, kind of hack your way in, if you will, because there's no particle edit or anything like that officially available. It's coming soon, so they had to do everything like the hardcore way, if that makes sense. So it was, it's pretty legit. I'm really happy the way it turned out.
Yeah, it looks fantastic, and Sam is doing a fantastic job showing it off to everyone right now. Our producer, man, that guy is on the ball. So looks beautiful. If you haven't already, if someone is kind enough to post the link up in chat if you'd like, go check out the workshop page. I'm sure you can go spam it with those crazy-ass thumb ups and get Valve to notice and recognize and hopefully get that code put in because, like you said, right, this is something that can't currently be put in, but Valve should be able to tweak to get into the game.
Yeah. Well, the way that we're suggesting it be put in is where the chest is just actual gems. It's not attached to anything, so you attach them yourself. Which that part is possible.
I kind of like that idea.
I think it's more. We didn't want to have to make items that people have to wear, and if they don't like the actual item themselves, they have to hammer. What is it even called? Chiseling out the gem or whatever. Like, why not just have a chest of freaking gems that you can, for free, hopefully, add to whatever hero you want and just attach or detach or whatever you want. That's the idea. It's not, I don't think it'll be that difficult to do, to be honest. It'll take but this is Valve we're talking about. They have so much to do already, so I'm not sure how high this is on the priority list, but maybe it'll make them some money.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm sure many people, including myself, would love to, open up my wallet and get a hold of something like that. Unless you want to hook a brother up, you know what I'm telling about right now. If it comes
They
out,
never give us free stuff, bro.
Yeah, my man. I'll take that, Crip Swarm.
Wow.
We'll go ahead. We'll move on from that. Check it out in the workshop, of course. But I got a nice little fun segment here. I wanted to bring up here. And while we were, preparing and having SUNSFan to come on the show, I was dabbling around YouTube a bit. And gentlemen, I want to take a trip, if you will. We're going to take a trip back. We're going to go back 4 years. All right, long time ago. Greg, you were probably like 14, way back in the day. All right, and this is SUNSFan's first cast game. Okay, we came across it. This is the first time. His great debut into the YouTube world, showing his casting prowess. And this is, of course, remind you, during Heroes of Newerth. And I was quite surprised. I was extremely surprised. I mean, many people consider Toby the king of hype, but oh my God. Back in the day, SUNSFan, more young, youthful, jubilant, energetic, charismatic, if you will, just erect with passion over this game. Like, there was no holding him back. He would do the cast solo. He didn't need anyone. They would just hold him back. So this was just such a treat to come across. And I managed to snag a small clip of it. And Sam, our little producer in house here, he's going to be able to show the clip for you. So we're going to go ahead. We have it tuned up here, hopefully. It's going to be a fight that breaks out at the top of the lane. Remember, 4 years ago, this is Heroes of Newerth. Big fight. It's about to happen. Look out for the energy right now. It's huge. Sam, if you can, please play the clip for everyone.
Fight. This is, yeah, this tower's pretty low. Team fight's going to depend on, obviously, who gets this. So, swap on who was that? Engineer, but Andrew's going to immediately. Chaos all over the place. Pestilence and Pharaoh stuck in the mummy wall. And they're getting a ton of kills. So, 2 for 2 exchange right now. Pyro. As I just orgasm there, he doesn't quite die.
Wow, the hype. Man. Can we just take a moment right now to just, I want to play Han right now. That was crazy. The hype is so real. Unbelievable. Toby.
It's so good.
Take some notes. No, in all seriousness, though, that was the most monotone thing I think I've ever heard in my goddamn life. A huge fight breaks out in the top lane. Oh, it's getting chaotic here. Oh, I just orgasmed.
Okay, so a couple things.
Please explain. What are we watching?
I think I just orgasmed.
Wait, did I actually say that in the cast?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, that
but
pyro.
I didn't have any energy with that. That's
No,
weird.
no, it was the best part.
If I remember correctly, okay, obviously it was my first cast. Never even did a practice cast on my own. That was my practice cast. And I think I had to be quiet for some reason. I don't remember why. And obviously I was awful. And I think after that, after watching that and getting the reception from people within the community, I added Zeno and Reeves. So we started doing a tri-cast because good God, that was bad.
Swap on. Who was that?
Did I say that?
That's what you said. Swap on. Who was that? Okay. Well, chaos breaking out.
Oh God.
In all seriousness,
This
it's
should give
great.
a lot of confidence to up and coming casters because you can start from anywhere.
You can start from literally anywhere and you'll be fine.
Now,
you don't even need to know who Charles Barkley is to succeed. Jesus.
I got him.
Definitely
I
not.
lost.
Oh my God, just
Jesus.
beautiful. But in all seriousness, man, you've obviously grown so much since then into a well-respected caster and overall fantastic entertainer. It's just nice to be able to look at the old SUNSFan, how it was back in the day and his old casting roots, and a real good time. I appreciate you being such a sport with that. So real fun stuff. And I guess I want to just bounce up. I asked the same question actually last week when PPD was on, because it was just Han right there in front of us. Would you say there was anything you miss about that game at all? Maybe you would love to see in Dota 2?
Yes. I'm one of those people that I'll admit. How do I explain this? I'm not a hipster. I don't go against the grain just to go against the grain. Han was really good for a while. Then something changed, which I guess I can't talk about, and then it started going downhill. But there were a few heroes that were really good. Chipper. Who played Dota or who played Han in here? Anybody?
I played.
Remember Chipper?
Yeah.
I've played like 20 games.
Chipper was so fun.
Rockets were great.
Yeah. I mean,
I
heroes
said, Electrician was a good hero, I think.
He was boring to play. I didn't like playing. I mean, it's a cool concept though.
Cool tools. Puppet Master was another good original.
Everybody's favorite was Puppet Master as a carry because Harkin's Blade I thought was a cool item that changed your attack to magical and lowered the magic armor. But they had a lot of heroes that were really good in the very early game that could take over, like Deadwood. I love heroes that can just stomp you level 6. You know, a lot of a hero that everybody hates is Amun Ra. I thought that guy fits my playstyle to a T. It was a perfect hero.
He was so OP when he first came out. It was absolutely bonkers.
No mana. You just use your health. I mean, just being a beast of burden and whatnot. And I guess the last thing I can think of, I don't like playing Tiny very much because I thought he was way cooler in Han. Mainly because of the one, I think it was only one difference, was the toss. It would toss the unit that was actually closest to you instead of
you could also
random around you.
Toss on himself too, right? Or you could toss someone straight on themselves, I believe, as well. I don't know if you can do that. Can you do that?
Do that.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I'm thinking of a different.
So the reason that
the Agnum's buff, where you could toss like 3 things at once, apparently.
What?
Yeah, that was one of the later additions they added in the back end of the game. You know, when all of us were pretty much playing Dota 2, is they had I can't remember, Staff of Master, I think it was called, in Han, where he would toss up to 3 things at once. That's when the game started getting a little out of control. So
that's insane.
But
I think the reason that I find that significant, the toss thing, is because if you remember in Han, it was a really exciting time with solo mids. Like No-Tail used to be a solo mid, and you'd have Tiny always as a solo mid, and he would always get like burst kills consistently, and it was like really exciting to watch. And now it's just you have to dual lane him. I mean, you have to have a Wisp, or otherwise he's pretty much garbage. Because you don't really, in the mid game, you don't really see Tiny go up to somebody, toss, stun, get a kill every single time.
Well, that's I don't think that's Tiny's fault though. That comes down to the way that people lane him and like the way people play him. Tiny used to be like a blink hero, and you'd always buy blink, and you'd always buy phase, and you just blink around the map to fucking kill everyone because you have like 900 burst damage or whatever. It's pretty good, but now he's like relegated to just default drums, ags, like carry.
But even if you like, let's say you don't have a blink yet and you go phase.
Oh, you can't do it. Yeah, it's all.
In Han, like in the middle of a wave, you can phase in as long as the enemy is the closest target to you, like you're inside them, you will toss them and deal a lot of damage. I don't know, that's one of the things I kind of miss for some reason. Even though Tiny's played semi-consistently, but just in a different way.
All right, fair enough. This is though a Dota 2 podcast after all, so gentlemen, we have to talk about
fuck on.
We have to talk about League of Legends. No, we have to talk about more Dota 2.
That video is amazing.
Yeah, okay, let's take a small moment of time. League of Legends, big tournament happening right now, guys. Let's support esports. Woo!
What?
Give them their props. You know, let them have their.
Really good.
You know, hey, it's fantastic. The video was beautiful. You know, definitely give props to that, and you know, hopefully they have a very successful event. And as a whole, we can all benefit off the more esports opportunities that could be benefited from this in the future. All right.
Now, can I just say?
Oh, Jesus Christ, we couldn't do it.
No, dude.
We couldn't get through it without this. Here we go.
This whole like do it for esports is like, it pisses me off so much. Like, I don't get why, I don't know. I don't get why you have to do, God damn it, KOTLGuy. I don't get why you have to do things for esports. Like, LoL doesn't need fucking help. They have Imagine Dragons doing them fucking music videos. You don't have to do it for esports. Like,
I'll do it because I want to do it.
Fuck, man. If you like it, then you can enjoy it. But
I mean, like, if it's good, it's well produced, it's something I want to watch, then I'll watch it.
I'm not doing it for esports.
No,
Fuck
I'm
you.
saying as a community, you should give the game the respect of the good event. Because
what if I don't like it?
Then just don't like it.
I mean, I like the
Say
video.
nothing, Greg. We want you to say nothing.
I know.
That's true as well.
Good. All right, whatever.
You just need to stop shitting on stuff, Greg, because like that's pretty much all you're doing.
I'm not shitting on it. I'm shitting on the for esports. I fucking hate that.
I do agree.
That's
with
like
you on that,
because it started in StarCraft, and I swear to God, it's part of the reason why StarCraft's not a popular. That and because Blizzard is a terrible fucking company. But beyond that, all right, I'm done.
I think they fucked that game up pretty bad. So
all right, we can move on. I'm just saying.
All right, finally, Dota 2. Let's go. We got our normal docket we need to go through and the topics we need to cover every week because it's been a somewhat eventful week in Dota. Let's lead off like we normally do, and as we've been since the whole TR4 shuffle, we got a few more roster changes to talk about here. DK, so they lost everyone. They got no one. Now they've come back and they got a team. CTY, Hansi, Dreamy U, Kuhn, and Quain. I'm so sorry. I'm moving it. Come on, guys, give me a break here. But, you know, a lot of new faces, some new names. Maybe if you obviously know more about your Eastern Dota, some of these names might be a little more recognizable to you.
Only one of those names is familiar, and I think
CTY?
Yeah, it's CTY.
Yeah.
And this guy was, when you go back like a year or so, this guy was considered one of the best mids, I think, in China at the time. And it was like, oh my God, Arteezy's screaming CTY. That was like a big thing at the time. And everyone was just like, this guy's so fucking good. And then like, he just doesn't have a team for a year. I don't know what happened to him. He might have been on a team for the TI4 qualifiers. I don't remember.
He was in a team in TI4 qualifiers.
Was it like, I don't remember what it was though. And they definitely didn't do well. So
it might have been like New Element.
He was like the only good player on that team and they got stomped every game. He also, I felt, played really shitty because I remember being really impressed and, or hoping I was going to be impressed and he just sucked. So I was like, man. That's unfortunate.
I mean, like, it's because the guy he had such potential. And it's not like he's like dead or anything, but like, it's just, you know, when you see that roster of DK, you're like, that's not what DK should be. Like, DK should be, at least from like last year, like it made you feel like there needs to be legends on the team.
He was on Hyper Glory team.
Really?
I feel really bad for that DK roster, though. I mean,
I mean, if you're a DK fan, you're not seeing a lot of faces you're familiar with, though, guys, Burning is the coach. All right, remember.
Thank God they have some moral support by someone who failed to win TI 2 years in a row as his only life goal.
Wow.
All right, I'm sorry, man. It's gonna be a rough day.
Somebody just fucking shit in Greg's breakfast.
Well, I guess we don't need to ask Greg his opinion on this. I mean, Burning, we don't know how good of a coach he actually is. I can't think of him being a coach before being more dedicated to just being a solid player. Greg already doesn't have big hopes, I guess, for the team. But Maut, do you think this DK team will ever be able to live up to the DK name that they've always been known to have, or is this going to be a real rough road for them?
All right, well, let me put it this way. In China right now, every single team is pretty much just shit. With maybe the exception of Vici Gaming. They're awful, I think, for the most part. Like, they do some questionable ass shit. Like, they do some really questionable stuff. And I think that's just for right now because no Chinese, like, the Chinese scene is not going to stay that way, and it never does stay that way for a long period of time. It's always when teams form or when a new patch comes out that a lot of these teams have trouble, and eventually they'll get better. Now, can Team DK gel together as a group and as a unit and, like, destroy everybody? It's possible. Is it likely? Fuck no. It's really not. I think it comes down to making sure they get in a lot of these games and a lot of the tournaments, which they're already kind of behind the 8 ball because I don't think they're in Star Ladder China. I'm not sure. I have to look that up. But they really need to they need to be practicing, they need to be scrimming, and they need to be getting ready for the next patch, which I think is the most important thing. However, because they have CTY, they have that added, like, you know, X factor, you know, so there's always the possibility. So
you think that if they do terribly, Burning will just come back out of retirement?
Probably. I mean, there's so many people that come out of retirement.
Is such not a thing, and
it is.
Yeah.
You're
right.
Like,
I can't coach this team. I gotta get in there.
He's just gonna watch them, and every time the carry player misses the last, he's gonna be like, oh, "Stop it, please!" And then he's just gonna kill him.
It's just like real sports, then.
Pretty much.
Except Charles Barkley actually didn't come back from retirement. Just a little trivia for you.
CTY is like the Charles Barkley. Greg doesn't know who the hell that guy is, but we all do. He just doesn't. So it's pretty much that.
Oh, God.
So DK, we'll have to see how their future is going to be. They are playing. I believe they're set to play in the I-League as well as the WEC. I have it. We'll talk about it later. But so we'll see how their debut ends up coming. You know, for a lot of the DK fans, they'll just have to hope that they're going to be something that they once were. Next team up, LV Gaming. You know, this is a team that's been thrown together by both Vici and LGD. They collaborated and put together this team, a bunch of different players from all over that they just kind of threw together. That roster does include DDC, Inflame, Demons, Lin, and ZYF/YJ. I know for me personally, I got the opportunity to watch and cast this team play in the Cena Cup the other night in their lower bracket. They went against U5 They actually had a really great game. It was only a best of one, but then they did get knocked out by Lie Gaming in the next round. And actually, Maut, I see you already moving around. I was going to ask you a question. Have you had the opportunity to cast this new LV game? What did you think, sir?
It was Sonic Cup, so you and I saw the same team, same squad. They played HyperGlory team, which we've talked about already, sort of, which is ZSMJ's team and like 4 other random players. And that's not true. They have some decent players, but it's actually, I was kind of impressed for the first game, and I really like DDC as a player. I think he's very good, and I think a lot of the CIS players are good too, and Flame especially. However, Demons had like the most non-factor Enigma I've ever seen. He black-holed the ground
do you
about
remember?
3 times.
Do you remember when you played Enigma?
That was one game. Can you fuck off? And I just
come on, Greg.
You're a piece of shit. You know that? You're just an asshole. Anyways, before Greg interrupted me, I was talking about how Demons had a non-factor on that Enigma, and to be fair, he didn't play well. They didn't play well in a best-of-3 series where they had the lead in the second game after being up 1-0. They just kind of shit the bed against HyperGlory team, so that team has a lot of work to be done. But I think they could be good. You know, I think they could be up there, so we'll see.
We'll see. They'll work out those kinks, come together, try to formulate some sort of chemistry. I mean, I would imagine a team where a bunch of players from just a bunch of different teams, they're all good, but you don't know how good they are until you put them into the mix with a bunch of different players. So we'll see how they go. Next team up, the NVMI squad, who actually just got recently picked up by Virtus Pro and have become Virtus Pro Polar.
What does that even mean?
Like polar bear, sir. It's
polar,
in the icon.
as in like they're from like the polar area of Russia, I think.
That's just dumb.
I mean, I don't know why it's not Virtus Prolar. Just saying.
I fucking hate you.
Wow. Thanks. So
no, what, really? I thought that was pretty good.
No.
I thought that was like at least a 7 out of 10.
I mean, you wouldn't have thought they were Prolar. They did recently just face their new Virtus Pro brothers, and they got their ass beat, Greg. So not so Prolar, I guess, in that one.
Did you get it? Oh, God, I hit my mic. I'm sorry.
We got it. You're drunk.
You know,
You're drunk.
Virtus Pro, Polar, Pro.
We got it.
Come on. It's
Greg, we got it.
Guys.
It's dumb.
Whatever, guys.
Tweet that one at Charles Barkley. Maybe he'll like it. Jesus Christ. So they have a new team thrown together. They've been showing some high cold performances. This team did win the Game Show Cup, Trivia Show, Game Show Cup. That's Game Show League. Game Show League, the trivia show. But yeah, that's actually the next team we're going to talk about. They ended up beating out Na'Vi EU 2-0, surprisingly, and put on a great performance there on the back of Goblak and his crazy strats. And it was some interesting games there at the end. They pulled out the old throwback to a CK Wisp duo, and they even had 3 halberds at one point because they were contesting a Havos Lycan. So they let the Lycan through in the draft and really punished it, and they had a great performance there in the finals. And I mean, what do you think, guys? I don't know if you had the opportunity to see the game, but do you think it could be more that this new NVMI / Virtus Pro Polar is just that good of a team, or do you think Na'Vi still is just having troubles adjusting not only with their new roster, but pretty much with the new meta? Greg, I'll start with you.
I don't know. I mean, I'm personally not convinced by this new Na'Vi roster yet. I think they have not really found a play style that kind of works for them. So I don't know. I'm hopeful that maybe they'll get better, but this league I think was also not a great representation of how they're going to play in the future. Sort of like what you're saying. They're also, I mean, it's their first LAN, right, with this new roster, which you have to just remember how long they played with their old Na'Vi roster. So, you know, changing captains is a pretty huge step. So I don't know. I hope they play better.
Maut, any thoughts on the new Virtus Pro group?
I think that's like a really good roster, honestly. I think I think Illidan's always been really good. Scandal, DK Phobos was someone I was excited to see play, and Goblak is always a brilliant drafter. I don't know much about Lil, but that squad could do well. I haven't really watched any of their games, so I can't make a judgment based off of that, but I think it could be fine.
Do you remember Illidan's item choices?
Oh, God, dude.
All right,
By any chance?
Yeah, I mean,
Illidan,
Why don't you fill us in? Why don't you fill us in for people who don't know what you're talking about?
I'm trying to remember what it was. At a Drow Scotty?
Oh my God,
Is that
dude!
What I remember?
I remember every time I watched him play, I was like, "This guy's actually trying to lose right now." Like, there was a gyro game, and he was up like 10k gold, and just had like the most ridiculous items, and I just remember he died like a lot. He just like randomly would die. Oh god, Illidan
did some ridiculous shit in the qualifiers.
He's special,
I remember.
dude. He's special.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, okay, item choices aside, it's a good player.
Yeah, he stepped away from Virtus Pro only to be picked up again by them. So,
I mean, I think he's fine.
Can't go too far from the Virtus Pro home, I guess. So, yeah, we'll see how they work together. You know, another team that's very fresh, just like all these teams pretty much are, and behind the back of Goblack, who is ridiculously tall, by the way. When we met him, that guy is a real freak as far as how much height he's got on him. But good team. We'll look out for him. Great show in the Game Show League, and tough luck there facing their Virtus Pro brothers as they progress on through Star Ladder. I actually believe right now they're sporting a 3-4 record, so they have a ways to climb if they want to be able to make it far in that Star Ladder. Next event we got to talk about. This is a big one, and a lot more news has been popping out about it even today here. ESL One New York. We've been talking about it pretty much every episode. So, what happened recently? VG won the Chinese qualifiers, and they will be the first team qualified for the LAN finals next month. They beat down Newbie 3-0 in their best-of-5 series and pulled off some really nice comebacks in the couple of last games right there. And some people might even say Black is back. Oh, thoughts, gentlemen? Did you even see it? Can you say something, please? God damn it.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
I watched
someone's in New York, and I love it.
Everyone relax. Okay, everyone relax. Black, I think, has been playing better on this roster because the supports are better on the team and can make more space for him. And I think also, I'm not sure how big of a factor this is, but there was always like some talks about like, how's his communication. But when I talked to him at TI, he was like in the process of learning like really broken Chinese. So if that's sort of moved along a little bit, maybe his Chinese is a little bit better. Maybe that helps. I'm not really sure. But I think a lot of it just comes down to better sports can create more space for him. And I think that's important for him.
Yeah, they look great. They upset the TI4 champions, even with their prize new rabbit. So they put on a real good show, and we're going to be seeing them. I know you gentlemen are going to be able to see them in person over there in New York. Maut, I mean, were you surprised by the results of this one? Do you think Black's been performing a lot better with this group, obviously, than he has with CIS? Even with, I feel like Black personally, just in my opinion, before I throw your way, is just he's always been more of that 4 protect 1 kind of style player. He just loves to hit creeps. He loves to farm up, be your Morphling, Weaver, what have you, and then come out in the end and really put on a show. But he seems to be adapting a bit. We even saw him play a little bit of Drow there. I mean, what are your thoughts, Maut?
I mean, that's the thing. I think that the fact that he's adapting is a good sign because you're right. He when he played for Maus, and even just like I think going further on and playing for CIS to a certain extent, to a little bit, he always played this, like you said, 4 protect 1 kind of hero, just like pick him in, like hard carry, and just let him farm for like an hour, and that used to be okay, but. I think he's learning, and I think that everyone understands that the way the metagame works now is that you can't do that. And that's kind of unfortunate for like the rest of the Chinese scene. With Newbies kind of an exception. They don't really do that style for the most part. They play more mid-game oriented, but they still have their kinks to work out. Whereas you have like look at LGD, and like Sylar still farms a long time. Like they don't give him really many semi-carries to work with. So, and that just goes back to what I was talking about with just the Chinese and Eastern scene just being complete ass. It's just it's unfortunate, but I think that's just kind of how it is. I mean, I think that Vici roster is good, but I don't think it's anywhere near as good as when ROTK and even Sylar were on that squad. It's just a different roster that are playing the right way. I guess, I mean, theoretically, like in terms of individual player skill, but when we talked to Black, and he actually came up and introduced himself to us, which I was very surprised by.
Black's so nice.
He's a very nice person. So as far as all the Chinese teams are concerned, I really hope out of all of them that, and I've always thought this way because I love FY and Fenrir, I hope that they do the best. I hope Vici does the best. So,
SUNSFan, from a spectator or a caster or someone organizing these games, on the meta and touching base on that, and Black being more, what we know as a 4 protect 1 style and adapting to the meta. For you personally, are you more of a fan of that 4 protect 1 style as a spectator, or do you
Nobody is. What kind of a question is that?
Or do you like the action packs?
What is that garbage? I'm always a fan of that.
No, some people have an appreciation for last hits. And
I love Black. He's a really nice guy, but I remember in the qualifiers, he bought. I made fun of him so much in this game. He bought drums on Naga with free farm and then sold them because he never needed them. and that's the kind of place that I definitely don't like. But I think as far as all these teams are concerned, it as dumb as this is, you can't really judge them until like a month and a half to 2 months after the next patch, because this patch is, I mean,
Dude,
maybe
I'm
it's
so
relevant
done
for
with this patch.
maybe it's relevant for ESL, but I think after that, I would
God.
expect to come out in the next month.
Oh yeah,
I
it's after.
hope to God that there is a patch before ESL. If we watch another LAN,
I don't think they're going to change it for.
I'm gonna be, dude. I
It's
think
a pretty
they should
big
change
LAN,
it
man.
now. Just
I
change
think
it now. It's a whole month.
That's not
a lie.
actually that much time.
There's like 25 days.
Yeah, we got
Well, but if you
25
look at it,
days.
there's going to be like almost a semi-major to major tournament like every month anyway. So
Yeah,
there's
like
no
you
good
have to
time,
do it
really.
at some point. Do it.
Yeah,
fucking now.
that's true.
There's going to be a tournament where everyone's scrimming and boot camping their ass off, and then right before the tournament starts, like, oh, by the way, here's a whole new meta for you. And then they're like, oh, shit.
Let me ask
it
you,
up.
when's the next LAN after ESL? Like, is there a
Star
scheduled
Ladder?
LAN?
Is it
Star
Star
Ladder?
Ladder?
Probably Starlighter, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
When's it scheduled for?
It's the end of October.
Oh, well, I guess you have to change it now then. Jesus.
I mean, with the exception, I mean, we have more
There's
events
LANs
to cover
like every
here.
month.
Yeah, I mean, we're still
Ton
got
of
plenty
work.
of events to still even talk about that we'll have to skim through, but there's a wealth of lands, and a lot of the lands over on the Eastern scene are getting bigger and they have higher price pools. It's getting pretty out of hand. So there's just going to be a point when the patch is going to drop, and for that tournament, we're going to see some interesting play because there's going to be teams that are just not ready for it, and it's going to be. I think it's going to be fun to see because that's going to be a lot of people really trying to be flexible.
Yeah, I mean, Valve has deployed patches like in the middle of pretty large tournaments before, like online tournaments. But
Yeah.
I definitely remember there being like a finals going on, and Valve would deploy the patch like right then, and game 2 and game 3 would be on like different patches. Like I don't think that really matters for them. I mean, they should just release it as soon as it's ready. In my
The
opinion.
day of the LAN.
Yeah, now. Yeah, fuck it.
Actually,
Or the
I'm
day of the
totally
LAN.
down.
I would be so okay with that.
That's like a reality show
God.
waiting to happen.
Oh, that
10
And our
teams
people,
arrive to play Dota.
Our people in the chat letting us know there's like WCA and even iLeague is in 10 days. So there's just
yeah, there's like
there's a
million
lot of
fucking
shit
LANs. It's
happening.
just
There's a lot of
unavoidable.
Dota. You know, life is hard. Just so much Dota.
We're going to stay on this patch until the TI5 qualifiers. Everybody go.
Yeah, just a crazy amount of work. And by that point, we're all just dead beat trying to get a hold of all the content. Because like you're trying to cast already so many games as it is. And then by the time you finish, you want to take a day off or two, you realize you just missed like 3 other tournaments. And like I'm reading over some of the stuff and I had no idea how the results were. And I had to go back and watch the videos. And, you know, you got to dedicate a lot of time if you want to be able to know everything that's happening now in the world of Dota. It's getting pretty out of control. So bouncing off more on ESL 1, the other big news that was announced actually just today was the full roster, I guess, of the group that's going to be both casting, doing the interviews, and being on the desk. So let's go ahead. Without further ado, we'll run through those names. For the casters, we got, of course, Mr. Toby, Capitalist, Merlini, and Cinderin are going to be your casters for the event. On the desk, it's going to be Melk, Fucking Mad, Pyrion Flax, and your hosts are going to be Red Eye and Mr. DJ Wheat. And then finally, running the ground floor and the interviews, it's going to be So, as well as now Sir Action Slacks.
Yeah.
So, an interesting, spunky group of additions for this ESL 1 group. Gentlemen,
We did it,
any
Reddit.
sort of thoughts? I mean,
Oh my god.
yeah,
Damn it, Shannon.
So,
Sir Action
there
Slacks
it is.
Awesome. I'm looking.
I
forward to
really
these
like
interviews.
I like him quite a bit as well, and I think it'll be a little different. A lot of like he got some. Okay, so there's a couple. Actually, everyone else go first. This
I was
is gonna
going
get
to say the
ugly.
same thing. So.
Okay,
maybe
well,
not.
all right. In that
Not the
case,
same thing.
okay. So, I mean, Sir Action Slacks. Everyone was like, "Oh, he just yells a lot." I'm sure that the Sir Action Slacks we're gonna see at ESL 1 will be a little bit different than the Sir
yeah.
Action Slacks we saw in his own personal videos. And then the other thing is there was like people in that thread talking about you know, other people like earning the right to go to those lands, which is another concept which I just think is so stupid. Like people like his videos. He's very, very entertaining. Like who cares if there's other people that have like earned it, you know? He's fucking hilarious.
I bet,
So-
you know,
Pyrion kind of had the same thing back in the day.
Yeah,
Look at him
Pyrion.
now,
Yeah,
so-
Pyrion. He like he made like a couple of videos and then he was at ESL Katowice or something. I don't know.
One of the ESLs.
One of the ESLs in like Poland.
ESL, whatever.
I don't know.
Bullshit.
I don't remember.
Some
But I don't know. I just think that's really stupid. That whole mentality, and I'm really happy that Slacks gets a cool chance like that.
Yeah. Maut, any thoughts on their staff?
it just
Dude.
makes me really wish, as far as Slacks is concerned, and I really, he's awesome, but it makes me wish I was funny, because I feel like it's just like,
We wish
damn,
you were
this
funny.
guy
Mott,
got popular.
Don't put
So
yourself down, bro.
I mean,
You
like,
got it.
I cast Dota, I'm alright with it. So,
All
but
right, everyone
I
in
think
chat, let Maut know he's funny. Come on, he's fishing.
I'm not fishing for anything. I don't need people to validate me.
You need an emote, Mott funny.
I mean, I'm good at what I do. Damn it, I think.
And it's like this. It's like,
please, no,
boy.
dear God, no.
And then the other thing is that people were like, "Who the hell is DJ Wheat?" And DJ
What?
Wheat.
People know who he is.
Well, people were like, "Why the hell is he in Dota?" But he's gonna be. He's gonna be.
Most people didn't know who he was because they're like,
They're
young.
Dota people. Yeah.
They're young.
Like regardless, he's gonna be very, very. It's gonna be like Red Eye. People are gonna like him. He's very professional. Like, he's really, really well spoken. He's really good at holding a desk. He's held a talk show for like 350 episodes or something ridiculous. So he knows what's up, and I'm looking forward to having him at a Dota event.
absolutely. SUNSFan, you happy for your boy Cinderin, huh? Casting the games.
Cinderino.
he's a shoo-in. We don't even need to talk about that. He's the best. podcast
Wow,
ever.
Guy's a
sell
pro.
out.
He's good at hype. He's good at the analytical part. He's a freak of nature in my
I
eyes
think
as far as casting.
He's
I
pretty
think it's the
much
complete
best of
package.
all world. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
he's the closest thing to a complete package. I've said it for a long time now. He can
Yeah.
hype it up. We got to see him and Merlini cast together on BTS, and he took the point, and it's just not fair. The guy's a freak. So
Well, that's
but
because
I'm
Ben like
happy
eats
for him.
ice cream cones while he casts. In fairness,
Yeah,
he literally eats ice cream cones sometimes when he casts. So.
that's actually the thing that surprised
hard
me.
He better not on my watch.
He
if
will
I ever
like
cast
he will
one.
run out and he'll like go to the freezer or something like that, and
Yeah,
he'll come
he'll
back in
literally
and like we'll be
come back.
mid draft and he'll just be like he'll have his ice cream cone on the
It's
desk just
so
sitting there,
funny.
and he'll just pick it up like when he's not casting. He'll have the mute button.
He's just leaning on the mute button with like half his body and just eating
He's like
away.
he turns to you and he's like eating his ice cream cone. He's like looking at you. He's like
It's so funny.
I'm just like. But
Oh,
to be
God.
honest, I actually love Ben and Sin so much. Like I have yet to cast with Hinder, and I believe that's a crime because that guy's he's just awesome. And like I think all of us had a really good time, especially at the qualifiers. Then like later at TI4, like going to the after party with Cinderin in the car was one of the funniest experiences I think I've had in some time. I don't know, like that guy's just hilarious, and I'm really excited. Cap's somebody that I think we've all known for some time, and whenever I had a problem when I was first starting up in the scene, especially like when that whole MLG thing happened, I was able to talk to Cap about it, and he was really, really cool with just me venting all my shit. So I really enjoy everybody that's doing that. So
They're going to put on a quality show that everyone's going to like regardless. And I agree, Capitalist, I've always thought he's been a great caster, but something as of recently, he's been having some great breakfasts. He's been having a fire lit under his ass with his cast recently because he's been bringing in an A game that will work very nicely with that group. And I'm looking forward to that. And like you were talking about Sir Action Slacks, I met the guy in person. He's clearly very passionate about what he does. Yeah, he seems like kind of a goofball. He goes pretty crazy with his own content. But I feel like when he's given a job to do, he will invest that kind of passion into getting the job done. And I think he'll be a great interviewee, and he's clearly very charismatic. He's not going to be socially awkward with interacting with people, and I think it's going to be great. So him, and then you get that little bit of estrogen in there with So. I think they got a great matchup. So it'll be a good thing to look out for, an exciting event, and look forward to it. Moving on. The NVIDIA Game 24 Invitational, I believe, is starting up tonight/soon. It's that 24-hour NVIDIA gaming marathon that we've been hearing a lot about. AC's been putting out in the Reddisphere and getting everyone all amped up about. And, well, the hours came out, and it was a bit crazy. They're like, hey, let's have Dota in the middle of the morning and then the next day. And it was a bit all over the place. So
What we call poor planning. On
it was a bit
their
finicky. All right, Greg wants to add that little bit onto it. That's fine.
Just
But
making sure everything's well seasoned,
Of course. I hate to bring bland material to it, so I'm glad you're there to season it up and spice it up a bit. But they did make adjustments. They now have announced that the first two best of fives, the EG versus C9 and the Alliance versus Team Tinker, are going to be pre-recorded to make it fair for the players as far as how the times work as well. They've already been done, yeah.
And the results are leaked as well. So.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
didn't even know.
if you don't want to know, then don't look for them because they exist.
Anywhere. Okay, so that's the downside that comes with these pre-recorded kind of games. I would imagine something that we don't see too often, but to make the adjustments and to get the viewership it's a business after all, gentlemen. We got to get it on prime time. So
Yeah.
they're going to put up a good time, but they are still going to have the grand finals live streamed, and the grand finals will be free on Dota TV with a free ticket. So that's something to look forward to. It's still some fantastic teams. There'll still be some great Dota regardless of that. So be sure you check it out. That's going to be the NVIDIA Game 24 Invitational, going to be casted to you from the man, the big, the voice, AC, and of course, Trouf is going to be his co-caster. So exciting stuff about that. Let's just go ahead and go right past that as well. We got ESL Fall 2014. The prize pool details are not confirmed, but rumored to be about 100,000 yuan or 16,300 US dollars. So a fair amount of money. All the group stage matches are best of one. The top 2 teams from each group advance to the playoffs. And those teams are LGD, LGD CDEC, Newbie, Tongfu, Lai, Beachy, IG, HGT. And of course, this is one of the where the Team DK are going to be playing for one of their first Dota performances, I guess you could say. But in my opinion, this is pretty much the Sina Cup again. I mean, it seems like another ESL great tournament on the eastern side of things, where they have the usual rambunctious group of teams. No real top tier teams, you know. It doesn't. I don't see. Oh, there is Newbie, so it's pretty much the whole squad there. Yeah. So you know, another great tournament to look out for. You know, in case you're up way late in the night and want to watch more quality content, you can get it right there.
If you have to cast it, you know.
Or if you're us and you get stuck on the graveyard shift, doing something by yourself with like only a couple of viewers and people don't know what the hell's
happening. Do you guys enjoy your lives?
No.
I mean, I actually don't mind those games.
Are you guys happy?
You know, sometimes you get a little busy with like casting and esports, and like there's not really a break. And I was talking to Charlie the other day, and I asked him something along those lines. He was like, you know, I don't know, how am I feeling? I hate everyone. That was his conclusion.
Shocker.
But I don't know. Casting these, all of us has done this like quite a bit. The middle of the night, all night. Like I did it a ton in the spring. Now Maut and KOTLGuy are doing it a ton. Maut did a ton in the spring too, and KOTLGuy co-cast with me a lot. And it's like fucking brutal, man.
I don't know, man. Like it really depends on your mindset. Okay,
well, I was going to class at the same time, so it was fucking brutal.
Then you're an idiot. I don't know what else to tell you. Then I mean, like, there are also times though, like I'll have like 1,000 viewers or something. Like I had Sonic Cup this morning for HGT versus Vici Gaming, which I thought was a good matchup. And I have like 1,000 viewers, so like I was solo casting, so I just decided to say like ridiculous shit. Or try to anyway, as ridiculous as I could get, and I think that's just kind of a fun game to play.
Hey, Greg.
Uh-oh.
I got something for you.
Oh,
I'm really worried about what's happening right now.
That's a nice chair.
It'll help with your rage.
Oh,
just look.
A cat. Oh my! Dude, you have the cutest cats. I think
that's a cute cat, right?
That can't be real. Look how adorable that thing is.
Kitty.
That's a mythical creature.
That's fake. I agree.
That's a fake cat.
Not a real cat. Not a real cat. And then the other thing, which back to this tournament, this seems like a really small prize pool compared to these other China tournaments right now.
That's kind of weird too, because they had a good viewership last year.
Yeah, and like this is the 3rd season, and it's only like $16,000.
So either China's really struggling, or this.
Dude, I mean, well, there's this WCA one coming up, which is like $600,000 or something. Okay,
whoa! Don't jump the gun, please.
Also, can I just say that SUNSFan, you had a Bengal tiger in your hand for like a minute there, because that's what he looks like. Is a Bengal or she? I don't know if it's a he or she.
It's a he. Well, he doesn't have balls anymore. So.
Rip.
I don't know if he wanted that information disclosed, but it's okay.
Dude,
condolences to your cat and his balls.
He's a good boy. Takes dumps wherever he wants. He's a good one.
Oh, it's like a SUNSFan, pretty much. All right, that's good. Runs in the family, I suppose.
Even he knows who Charles Barkley is, for God's sake.
Wow.
Freaking Gerg.
He's really giving it to you on that Charles Barkley.
He has no balls.
Exactly. Oh, God.
All right, so we also got the D2CL, which is back in, I believe, season number 4. The Chinese division, though, has been canceled. No more Chinese division. Not going to be happening. There's going to be a conflict. There's a land final event for another Chinese, the NEST, which was co-organized by the government of China. So there's no budging them, you know. So there's going to be no sort of Chinese division for D2CL because of the conflict there. The extra land slot is going to be occupied by another European team, so that's good. The team in first place will proceed directly to the land finals, while the second through fifth place teams will compete for the other 2 slots. Right now, currently, Empire leads the Europe group stages at a 7-1 record, and Navi US is leading the Americas group stages with a perfect 8-0 record. So,
Whoa.
good
Go
for
Fog.
them, boys. Woo! Go Fog, go Korok, go that whole squad. So they're looking pretty good right now for D2CL, and make sure you go check out that ticket. I believe that's also being casted by AC and Trouf.
That's not true.
No?
No, it's Join Dota.
Yeah.
It's Join Dota?
Well, right now, I mean, last year it was Cap did some of it, and then I think they switched between Cap and AC sometimes. I'm not sure. I think AC might be involved. I don't know if
AC was
they are
involved
currently.
last year, but he's not this year.
Okay. Well, thank you for clearing that up. That's good. All right.
All right, so be sure to look out for it. Great quality content in Dota, as always. Next is probably one of the biggest seasons there is around, Star Ladder, baby. We're, pretty balls deep into Season 10, to be frank, right now, but they also recently announced their plans for Season 11. And not just Season 11, potential plans for Season 12 through 15. This is crazy. That's a lot of Star Ladder for the future. Gentlemen, I think we're almost at the point when this could be almost considered Dota's regular season. I mean, it's just that big of an event that's been happening now over and over again, and they've clearly been showing great Dota games. They have a worthy prize pool to back it up and some great, production value. Would you agree? Do you think this is, as of right now, the season as far as Dota goes?
Like the layout of Star Ladder?
Like how there's an NBA season or even...
I think Star Ladder is the closest thing that we have to like a regular tournament that's sort of defines structures.
I think it's more like tennis, though. This is more like tennis.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Fair enough.
There's majors, and then there's TI, which is on a whole new level, obviously.
Yeah, that's like the grand poobah.
Grand slam.
Actually, I wanted to ask you guys. I think it's pretty healthy overall, but what do you think about do you think there's a saturation of too many tournaments, or not enough casters, or too many casters, or anything like that?
I think
there's plenty of casters.
There's a lot of casters, but there's not. Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna say it anyway. There's a lot of there's a lot of casters, and not a lot of like really top quality casters. And I don't think that comes down to like a lack of talent or anything like that. I think it comes down to a lack of experience because it's really hard to get like good games. Like to be the caster for like decent games is really fucking hard, and it takes a lot of long work and a long time to like get there. Like just now we're starting to get our own games, and coming up soon we're really gonna have our own games that are like really top quality, and it just takes for fucking ever to like get that. And it's really hard to get motivated if you're not casting games that like streaming to 6 viewers sucks dick. It's awful. Like it feels so bad, and especially when you're casting and you're like, it's really hard to get hype when there's 6 people watching you. You're like, man, I bet that's my own stream open in another tab on my computer somewhere. Like
my mother's watching
like
from home.
My mom is watching.
She's not really watching. I just told her to load it up on her iPad, but it's
so. I mean, I think that's like the problem. I think there's like decent talent and a lot of room for it to get developed, but it's just hard to get motivated.
Along those same lines, I think also is that because you're not casting to a wide audience, you're not going to get accurate feedback of how you're actually doing as a caster. Some people will say, hey, I think you did a really good job. I think they'll give you valid points, and maybe there's going to be a couple of people who call you ass or something like that, but no one gives you actual like really decent criticism. And you don't get that until later on down the line, and that's usually from your peers. Also.
I agree. Yeah, that's the big thing for me is like a lot of people get discouraged from casting because they get like a bad Reddit thread or like whatever, they get flamed on Twitter by some random idiots, and like,
you suck dick, you fucking idiot.
You are not Toby.
Like that. You don't like comments like that?
For me, I'm pretty like I got pretty good at just about like I never really got like a big flame thread or anything, but like I just kind of ignore Reddit and stuff.
Make a thread now, people.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a thread now. But I'm more, for me, it's like, what are my peers thinking? Like I always, I used to talk to LD, obviously Maut and Dakota. We worked together for a while now, so I think you have to ask people that you trust, not like fucking Reddit, because who knows? You're gonna get people like SUNSFan cradling their cats. So
I don't know if you saw 4 years ago that video though. That man, he had a destiny to fill, and that was casting, and it was it was just a glorious road all along the way. But no, to also just give my own 2 cents on what you're talking about, I think clearly everything is just growing at a tremendous rate. You got all these new tournaments, these new things coming up, and they're looking for these top 2, 3, maybe 4 studios, and the studios are only staffed for so much, and now their hands are full, and they're reaching out to other studios, and those studios are reaching out to other studios, and there's jobs to be there, and then there's a lot of casters who are just kind of free agents, and they can't quite commit a lot of time right now. They have big life things happening, and you're looking to maybe bring them in to do some work, and you don't know how much work they've done. Have they paid their dues? Have they casted for 5 people? Have they done their Dota Reddit replay casts and stuff like that? So it's crazy. There's room to grow. We might see some of these studios expand a lot more to just kind of fill that void, but it's crazy. It's a lot. I mean, I know for me personally, this is something I'm looking to invest more time into if I can't already take full time. So I welcome the Graveyard Shift casts. I welcome all that opportunity in those new scenes if it gets me more work. So we'll see, man. It's a crazy road that we're all going down, and we're just going to truck along.
I mean,
as hard
it's
as we
getting
can.
to the points now where these big studios just have to straight up refuse like $50,000 tournaments. Like, they're just like, we don't have time to do this. Like, for BTS doing Star Ladder, that's a huge portion of their schedule just completely clogged up. So now they have all these other people casting all their like random stuff, like Maut, Helium, like just tons of people all over the place casting their stuff. And clearly, like, they're oversaturated, right? But the problem is that these tournaments and these sponsors keep coming to these same studios and just piling it on. And obviously, they're not going to say no. It's like, no, bring your money somewhere else.
Yeah,
so
and tournaments can be skeptical about going out from their comfort zone of those studios.
Tough.
Like, we've worked together already. Why can't we continue to work together? And you're like, sorry, I just have too much on my plate. And now they have to reach out to these other groups and studios, and they might not be so comfortable. So there's ground to break, and we'll just have to hope that we can all blossom together into a
I'm
great
hoping
Dota
that
harmony.
Coming up soon, there will be motivation for other studios to get motivated.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's still a long season of Dota ahead of us. All right, trucking on with more of the tournament talk. This is the one we're very familiar with, the Canada Cup, baby, season number 3. We're in the playoffs right now, and Greg and myself got to cast, was it just yesterday, actually, the first day of the Canada Cup season 3 playoffs, and we got to see a very nice upset between Shadows of the Past and Thundercats. Thundercats were coming in as the favorites, about like a 76% favorite, and they lost.
They got
0-2. Shadows of the Past like really hit it hard to them, and they got a fantastic second draft. I mean, SUNSFan, I don't think you had the opportunity to watch it, but imagine a team that not only got a hold of, I think what was Lycan, and they got Razor, and they got Naga, and they got Skywrath. It's like, how does that happen? So they clearly took advantage of that.
Fifth? You can't give me 4 out of the 5.
Invoker.
It was Invoker.
Right.
And it's like, and it was a Quas Wex Invoker too. That was a little funky fresh, but still, you're looking at this lineup. It's greedy as hell, and
statistically, like the lineup was like never lost or something. It was really funny.
One game or something has ever been a team like that thrown together, and they won that one game. So I don't know what happened with Thundercats. They kind of let the ball go in the drafting phase, and it was all about Shadows of the Past taking advantage of that, and they just swept them. And now they're moving on to the next round. If you didn't already know already, it's $4,000 prize pool. It's already some great action. We have tons of games this weekend for the playoffs, the rest of the quarterfinals. Game
tomorrow night at 6:30, Sunday at 4:30, and one later as well. And then a little later in the evening.
Yep.
Is that the tournament that comes with
Bearski?
Bearski.
That thing's awesome.
Bearski is pretty fucking legit.
Isn't that?
I think
that's
Aaliyah
chemical
did that.
Aaliyah and Dry. Yeah.
Sam, I hope you're showing the courier right now. Come on, man. You got to get that courier up for everyone to see. Bearski, you got to give him a home, folks. I can't stress it enough.
It's $6. It's worth it.
$5.99. You can give the Bearski a home, for God's sakes. He left hockey altogether, and he picked up his traveling shoes and sack, and he's heading towards Tim Hortons, apparently. He's got to get the hell out of here. So get the courier. We're selling out hard. You can see Serena4 in the chat right there. He's always subscribed to the channel. Right. What a player. What a man.
Right, look at your shirt before you say sell out on stream, you jerk.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Hold on. That's spring sellout right there for BTS.
I have one of those over there.
I'm wearing my Team Pavo shirt, so whatever.
What shirt are you wearing there, SUNSFan? That's just a plain-ass gray shirt? Or?
Oh, no. It's an Axe shirt. That's
Axe shirt.
All right, gentlemen. I'm surprised. We're all here sporting our Dota attire. Sam, I hope you're sporting something. I don't know what the hell you look like, but hopefully you're not. Hopefully you're wearing clothes. So, All
That's
right.
a big
but-
assumption.
God. Oh, he also
He has a BTS shirt on as well.
this
What a
is
player. All right.
Special.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So yeah, Canada Cup, more action. The finals are going to be held on the 28th. I'm looking forward to that. We'll be bringing you the action. The handsome gentleman at HighGround.tv bringing you the content. So definitely look out for that. The next one, the big tournament that people have been kind of talking about a lot, and Greg spoiled briefly, the WCA 2014. Man, look at this prize pool. $470,000 of a prize pool. And I believe this is a winner takes all tournament. There is no.
Is this the one that was?
It's not winner
crowdfunded
takes
on,
all, but it's
is it?
$325,000 for first place.
And then
That
what?
is a
Everyone
large
else gets
portion.
And then
like
next
$4?
is, and then so it's 325, 90, 40, 3,000.
Is this the tournament that was basically like a Kickstarter almost? That's where they got most of their money.
No,
Right?
that is.
No.
Oh, it's killing me.
Are you talking about that really small tournament?
The new tournament that BTS
one that
is
was-
covering.
Oh, okay. I'm
you
talking about the one that was started at
Tactic-Hive
16K and now it's like
Tactic-Hive?
400.
Oh yeah, no.
And it came with
we're
a
not talking about the
terrible
same-
Maelstrom.
Let's not talk about Tactic-Hive.
Okay, anyways, back to WCA. Crazy big prize pool just to show you how much things are growing, especially in the Eastern scene. A lot of your big teams, of course, are going to be involved. Looks like we have 4 Chinese and 4 Western teams going to be a part of the mix right there. Instead of holding qualifiers, 8 teams have been directly invited, which are LGD, IG, VG, Newbie, Navi Alliance, Titan, and Cloud9. And of course, that is Navi EU. Double elimination, best of 3 format with a best of 5 finals. Winners bracket advantage is going to be 1-0 in the grand finals. Titan versus Alliance, Cloud9 versus LGD, and IG versus VG, and Navi versus Newbie are going to be the first head off of all those games. But yeah, that's a big prize pool, gentlemen. A lot of money on the line. How do you feel about that this distribution of money between
I have a
first
question.
and second?
Is this like one big LAN? Are they playing all the games over these 3 days, or is there like an online portion first? The whole thing's big LAN.
It's
Okay.
one big LAN.
I wasn't really sure. In terms
It's
of
like
the
2
prize
days, I'm
pool,
pretty sure.
yeah, it's October 3rd or something, 2nd through 5th, so very soon actually.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of this prize pool, China is kind of like notorious for having these kind of top-heavy prize pools, but this one definitely takes the cake.
absurd.
It's a girthy one.
I
that's
think
for sure.
I kind of like it. It mixes it up. I mean, you can't. I feel like every tournament just does the cookie cutter.
I think like
distribution.
65% is probably as like high as I would want to go in first place. 80% seems a little crazy, but I mean, I also think it's really cool to have a huge first place like that.
It's just like the drop off is hilarious. It's just like, oh,
the fourth place
300,000. Fourth place is
hilarious.
$3,000. So it's just like it's not even worth it to
it's
go.
1/100th.
If you're a Western team and you go and you don't get top 3, you're like,
Hey,
Well, I
that means
guess
you gotta fight that much harder.
I'll
And
just-
I
I
would
mean-
hope that the grand finals are going to be that much more intense, because that's a lot of money that second place is going to miss out on. If
There's
they
a
don't
reason
perform.
that EG didn't go to this tournament, and that is definitely one of them. The other is that they just don't like China, but the distribution of this prize pool is definitely one of them as well.
I think that I'm gonna make my prediction now. You haven't asked for it, but I'm gonna make it anyways. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, Maut, please.
I think Cloud9 and Titan are gonna be the top 2 in this tournament. I think, honestly, I think Titan's
You're just the Titan rider, man. You just love Titan.
I am. I do ride Titan a bit, but I think they deserve that bit of riding. So
I mean, I think they're pretty good.
Well, ride them hard, dude. I hope they make it all the way.
I do too. I mean, like that seems
Ride that
awesome.
Titan.
All right, dude, just relax.
Dude, you didn't listen to the cats last night, did you? It was way
I
worse.
really didn't. That fever came back. So
Dude, there was some talks about splitting down the middle. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what? You mean Nayrock with his hot dog sponsorship on his name or whatever? So what? The guy
Oh, yeah.
clearly likes to split some meat between 2 buns. There's no big deal about that. What are you talking about?
That was that's the funniest thing that he's hot dog in his name. I just don't understand that, but
Oh boy, I don't know.
Great.
I think this tournament will be pretty cool. Cloud9. Hopefully they don't just shit the bed. Sometimes that happens.
it happens.
I expect Navi EU is not going to make it out of the second round, and I don't know. I'm actually kind of interested to see how Alliance does.
Who's bringing the action? I didn't actually get a chance to see what studio.
It's not officially announced yet.
Not officially announced yet, so
Yeah,
we'll see.
I think it's probably going to be both. In that case, if they haven't decided yet.
And they have that much money, I'm sure they're
I mean,
comfortable.
usually these Chinese teams don't even, or these giant Chinese tournaments don't even pay casters. They just allow them in it, and then you
They
just make ad
allow-
revenue.
I don't think you can get away with that anymore, though. I think that
I think that's. I mean, both BTS and Join Dota like want this fucking tournament. You know.
Well,
like,
this tournament specifically, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this one's an extreme example, right? But
I think for
other
like
that
Sonic
are like
Cup,
this.
for like tournaments like Sonic Cup, I don't think you can get away with that anymore, though. Like,
I mean, they're both doing it. They're not both getting paid. That's
I
for
know.
fucking sure.
Aware of that. I mean, I think that would be the case, but I don't have any further information, so I'm not going to go into it.
All right, fair enough. Well, that's going to end our Dota discussion for this week's episode, and now we're going to move on to the Q&A session. That's right, folks. The questions that you have submitted that we are regretting that we're going to have to look out here. And I'm hoping that Greg and Maut are going to be the ones to fish out these questions for us, and you could direct that towards us here, but they're probably mostly directed at SUNSFan because who the hell are we, right? So why don't we go ahead and get some of those questions. Greg, got anything ready to go right here that the fans are waiting to ask?
Yes, I do. Well, I have one that's a question for everyone and one that's a question just for SUNSFan. Which one do we want first?
Ooh, let's start with everyone, Greg.
The question is from Kyle the Smurf on Twitter. And the question is, what has been the hardest thing for you to do as casters?
Not
Dead
be racist.
fucking not.
Who's starting?
What did you say?
Not be racist.
Really?
No. Well,
Are you sure
No,
you're
You can
not
build
gonna-
on that. Is it just not
Can you
being
elaborate?
biased? Is
no,
it
not,
holding
no,
back?
It's more not speaking my mind. It's not being racist, but some things can sound racist, I guess, depending on the context. But I'm a very outspoken person, I guess.
I don't know
and
anything about that.
I have to control myself quite a bit. So
For me, I think the hardest thing is sort of the start. I mean, this is kind of like more than just one thing, but that whole period where you're casting for 5 people and, you know, sometimes it can last a while is pretty rough. But if you like Dota and you like casting, then it's pretty easy to get through it. And then you hopefully have bigger and better things awaiting you.
Mhm.
I think
Ron,
that's
you
pretty
wanna go
that's pretty
next?
hard as a caster.
I think for me, as far as like casting as a business, or at least like as something to do, like when I got a Reddit thread like 2 years ago was probably the hardest thing for me because it wasn't a shout out thread. It was a
Really?
who the fuck is this guy thread. It was like Starlighter 4 or something
yes,
like
those
that. I've told this story numerous times, but it was for Starlighter 4 and I was casting and I was solo casting. It was like Maut versus, if you remember the team, like Sven Hunters. It was like that team. And I remember just trying to be really funny and like really like, you know, just exciting as well. And I was casting in a place of Shiva, who had to take the day off or something because she at the time had Starlighter coverage. And I remember like thinking, yeah, I did a really good day. I like casted like 4 games in a row and I thought I did really well. And then I checked Reddit afterwards and this guy had made a Reddit thread and it was just like really unprofessional casting from @Maut Dota. You know, what is this? And he called me out on like really just bullshit terms that didn't even exist in the cast. And I just that was like probably one of the worst days for me in a long time. And I just remember like being so upset because everything he said was like either blown out of proportion or completely untrue. And it was almost like, you know, slander / libel. And it was actually clear when I read the post that his native language wasn't English, so that also kind of upset me. The worst thing, though, the thing that was worse, like the worst about it, was that people didn't even look at the VOD. They just blindly upvoted it. It got to 100 upvotes without anyone actually seeing the VOD or anyone highlighting anything about it. And then once I posted the VOD in the Reddit thread, the VOD and my explanation got upvoted to like 300. And then NA Dota, title of the thread called LOL. It was literally called LOL and then linked to the Reddit thread. And then I had people like Grant coming to my defense, which I actually thought was the coolest shit ever because at the time Grant was awesome. And he still is to me. But
Whoa!
that's not a slut on Grant. I love Grant. But
The cannons are out, boys.
anyways, long story short, fuck Reddit.
So
There you
taking criticism.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seeing that
yeah.
criticism,
Yes.
trying to put aside what is
Because it's really-
valuable
when you-
feedback. And
This is kind of a common topic for casters to talk about, right? When you read a Reddit thread, for me, I pretty much ignore all of it, but there is definitely some useful information like buried in that thread somewhere. I'm sure there's something
Wait,
that's
what did you just say?
Buried.
You said
Buried.
buried?
yeah.
Buried.
Is that how you actually
Buried.
say it?
Buried, yeah. What the fuck's wrong? How do you say it?
Really? Buried?
Not that way.
How do you say it? I hate you
This
so
is
much.
awesome.
I hate
Picking
you so
on Greg
much.
is the best, man. Jeez.
And okay, so anyway, so it's
Oh my God! No! You do not get to continue because that is actually how Charles Barkley says.
Yeah, I was thinking like, what's the other saying he says where it sounds just like that? I was sitting there thinking like,
Terrible.
damn
Terrible.
terrible. It's burning. It's buried. Terrible, Greg.
all right.
That's
So
so good.
Jesus. So you get into the thread. There's something that's good, but most of it is just garbage, and it just gets upvoted. So I don't know. I forgot. I lost my train of thought, boys.
Buried.
I posted the Reddit topic in question, or the Reddit posting question in
Jesus
chat.
God, Moz,
Let's just
like,
go ahead and
is
open
that
up this
fucking
closet over
silly?
here. You guys want to see this shit? Boom.
You bookmark that?
Yeah, it's just
No,
fucking.
I actually
He's like,
had to
every
search-
day I'm in the bathroom, I have it up on the wall. It inspires
Oh,
me to
God.
cast that much better.
It was actually on Anecdota, and I just searched LOL Maut on Anecdota. It was the last thread that I could find. So.
No, I agree. Having to look past all that stuff and find the
I'm not
hidden
gonna
gems of actual valuable feedback that you can get from those Reddit threads is definitely hard to kind of decipher and find out. And yeah, I would also agree that the fatigue part can be tricky when you're doing like 2-3 best of threes or whatever back to back, and you have to bring that hype, you have to bring that charismatic attitude into the last game of the last series if you've gone through. And we got to experience that a lot when we were at the NA hub and doing those late night casts and stuff, being able to bring it without getting, even I at times was getting very grumpy in some of the games when they were going way too long. There was points where we had like a 70-minute game and you're just like, I want this to be over. But to how to push that aside and be able to, give the audience the game they deserve and the players, their opportunity without drawing too much attention, that can be a bit of a challenge. So I think that would be the hardest thing for me. Greg, you said there was a question directly for SUNSFan?
Yes. And the question was...
Buried in that
Would-
Reddit thread.
God damn it, dude. How do you say it?
That's terrible.
Buried.
Buried?
Buried.
Whatever, man. The question is,
Buried.
would Dota Cinema ever consider sponsoring a Dota 2 team?
Yes, that's my dream.
All right, well, that's a very
Would it be a
convincing answer.
NA team? Europe? Does not matter. Any
It
team?
does matter. Well, it doesn't matter on location. It matters how good they are. I wouldn't want to sponsor a
mediocre team?
mediocre. Yeah,
So
it'd
not
have to
Team
be, like,
Gerg?
top notch. No, not
I can't
Team
convince
Gerg.
you to take
Sorry.
stock in Team Gerg.
Sorry. It's too hostile environment for me.
Any of you dreamers out there,
Too much Jimmy, dude. Oh God.
I
all
think
you have to do is not suck.
that's been since the beginning. That's probably been the first thing that I've wanted to do, to be honest, from before I even started casting. So I would say at some point I would be surprised if I don't try to pursue
Try to
something
get it
like that.
going.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All right.
there's another question here in the chat, which I kind of like, so I'm gonna pull it out before we move on here. Do you feel people such as stats people and behind the scenes people are valuable? The positive and negatives, and thoughts if it's worth it. And
Definitely not. Nahaz is the worst one out
Yeah,
there by
fuck
far.
Nahaz.
I
That
don't
guy,
know what the
man.
hell he's doing. I mean, now he thinks he's a caster. It's absolutely disturbing.
He's
How
realized
dare
that
he.
he's realized there's
Totally
too few casters, so he turned into a caster. No, I'm kidding.
Unbelievable.
I don't understand.
Kind
What are
of.
the negatives?
Okay, so I mean, I don't know. I think this person wants some stats dick riding, but
Uh,
the
makes
Oh,
sense.
come on, dude, go easy.
okay. So honestly, the thing I like about stats and behind the scenes people, or whatever you want to call them, is we've been using stats a lot for Canada Cup, and not only is it, I think, during the broadcast entertaining to have like that little extra thing, but during the draft, if you have like a good stats person, they can put like info in the Skype chat that makes you look really fucking smart, and actually usually is pretty educational for the viewer as well. Like win rates from previous games, previous lineups they've used, and it's sort of a way that we like to do preparation. Especially us three, I think, do more preparation than most casters for like big games. But having someone there who can like pull information as we're talking about it is extremely useful and really, really, really nice for broadcast. So I've really liked having stats person. We have Phage now on High Ground, who is sort of also heading up that stats group, Standard Deviants, and supplying us with stats pretty much any game I ask for. So
I'm actually going to go
it's
against
nice.
the grain a bit. I do love stat guys and all that stuff, but for captain's draft, it actually doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
probably
yeah,
the only
you're
format
right.
where it wouldn't make any sense because there's nothing you can look back on.
Yeah.
Like, sure, you can look back at season 1, but really
So
it has
long
no
ago,
relevance.
When there is this exact draft,
Yeah.
This year's picked 90%.
And at that point, you're kind of reaching like, oh, Funnick got a hold of a Leshrac. He played that twice before, and he's 1-1. And you're like, what? You know, so I can see where you're coming from with that. That's fair enough. But I agree with Greg. It adds a whole new flavor, and sometimes you're in the mix and you're doing the casting itself or the draft work, and you have someone there who doesn't have to focus so much on just yapping and can pull out that raw data, and being able to present that forward, I think, is a nice little set of frosting on top of our casting cupcake, if you will. And just to bounce on that prep work, I mean, I love doing my research. Let me just show off that sweet handwriting right there.
By the way,
I've filled up my book completely. I need a new one. I'm actually using the back pages more now and stuff. So
I've tried doing that, and I've gotten to like 3 bullet points, and I just stop.
Yeah,
it's like this feels like school, and I hate school so much.
I did try my recent game, the Canada game we just did. I did that on the computer, and I used crop over and stuff. But I think it's a nice little touch. Now I can like put it on my coffee table or whatever, and it's kind of a fun little thing. But you know, that's what I'm talking about with the prep work, and something I know we appreciate. The people like the Nahazes, like your Phage guys, the Fridge Masters, and all them who put in that work. And small quick shout out, of course, to the Standard Deviants at STDev Stats. Those guys are throwing together a nice little underground group of stats people, you know, of a stats men and women, I guess, and bringing in anyone who wants to learn anything about stats work. You can come in, hang out, and they also kind of work as a mini agency where they send out these stats folk to some of those amateur or maybe just B-rated tournaments or semi-pro tournaments, and let them let all games have the opportunity to have stats. So I like it a lot, and I think it's extremely valuable.
Yeah, it's neat.
Maut, did you have any questions you happen to fish out from Reddit or Twitter sphere at all, buddy?
This isn't that like crazy of a question. It is for SUNSFan, and somebody named Pigpen _ I was curious what your favorite mode is in Dota 2, and I'll leave out the latter portion of that question. I'm actually curious what your favorite mode is.
ARDM by far.
Well,
for sure.
He was right then.
So
why is that?
I don't know why. It's because I don't ever rage when playing that.
It's really hard to rage when you're playing that.
I'm gonna get
I should play that. I should play that. Maybe I'll be more relaxed.
We're thinking about making a video for it, because I'm been involved in like 20-minute queues, which is like never the case for my skill bracket, and just needs more people playing it. It's so freaking fun. I don't understand. I mean, there's some bugs, but you could say that about anything.
Yeah.
So fun.
And then there was a follow-up version. Are you gonna ask that too, or did I just blow it? There's a follow-up comment. Would DC ever do an ARDM tournament, given the fact that ARDM is a fairly...
I already asked this question at the beginning of the show. I already asked if they were going to do another...
Really?
I already asked if you guys were going to do another tournament besides Captain's Draft.
I said, would you ever consider doing ARDM, even though it's like...
For a tournament, no, but we have plans for something else.
For something, all right.
Yeah, not
fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can ever really do it as a tournament, right? It's so just imbalanced by nature. Yeah, like it's like Hearthstone, dude.
It's its own game.
Shots.
Yep, shots fired.
All right.
Did I tell you I spent $50 because I was so mad playing Hearthstone, because I was playing at some guy and I felt like I was outplaying him, but he kept coming out with legendary after legendary after legendary. So I was like, fuck it, I'm paying $50 for a bunch of packs, and I accidentally bought 2 of them. So I spent $100.
Oh.
But the good news is I got all the legendaries I wanted. So
that's good.
Grommash all the way.
Oh, you play fucking Warrior, dude? We're not friends anymore.
I play Control Warlock too, which is probably not much better.
Hearthstone.
Like Handlock?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
All right, sorry, we're done. Yeah,
Card games.
How did you guys feel at the qualifiers? Everybody played Hearthstone.
Oh my god,
dude, it was
it was Smash and Hearthstone, and I don't play either. And I'm sitting there like,
well, all right, Smash is like anybody can play Smash. You know, if I play Hearthstone, I'm just like, I guess I could learn this game, and I can learn what the cards do, and I can try to play a card game, but I'd rather just like probably kill myself. That's not true, but. It's a good game. I like Hearthstone, but I just don't have the patience for card games generally, and that's just because I'm like a 5-year-old or something. So,
for me, I just have bad luck, and there's too much RNG. Just same way, I do enjoy playing poker and stuff, but I just feel like I have bad luck, and it doesn't seem to work out. And when there's an element of that much RNG involved, for me, it's not my cup of tea.
I think there's less luck in Hearthstone than there is.
Really?
In poker. Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, it's it seems like an appealing game. There's a lot of people who love it. You know, I can't dog on that too much. I guess I'm a freak. I'm happy to play Dota after I'm done casting and with my friends. So, and I love ARDM, and I love playing my AP, and I love playing my Earth Spirit. That's what I'm all about lately. So, I agree with that. A lot of good fun. I have a question for SUNSFan, and because we already answered this question in previous episodes, and I like to ask this question to all of our new guests. But now with 6.82 and the new balance patch coming out, is there any one particular thing that you would love to see in those patch notes to really?
I think they need to upgrade. They need to buff Centaur a lot. His ult needs to stun again. They need to implement his old passive, which was his old ultimate, on top of his current ultimate, which gave him like 32 strength. I mean,
my God, yeah.
That hero, man, needs more. He needs more love.
Hey, at least he's played. My hero's never played. I got KOTL that's never played.
Yeah, and Cinder, his big prediction was that KOTL would be played during TI and pick up Ags every game because he thinks it's amazing. It's probably
never played.
It's pretty legit. But
if you want your fucking KOTL getting farm instead of your mid hero, it sounds great.
But other than that, nothing particular comes to mind. Other than just not seeing some of the heroes as often. I'm still butthurt about Razor. I think actually the reason I hate Razor so much now is not because I had to repeat his skills over and over. It's because Purge would continually play the same video and it was ridiculously loud and would like break my eardrums. So.
That's
it's
a Purge's
fault. I hate Razor.
Yeah, it's a Purge problem then.
It's a Kevin issue.
I think they're again just kill Death. Just make Death Prophet not a hero in the game. Also Techies.
Techies is fine, dude. You're like the biggest Techies rager.
I'm surprised by how little Techies I've seen lately. I played 4 games the other day, and I didn't see him once.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess
people realize that the hero's not actually that fun.
Yeah, that's true.
He seems fun until you play him and you get fucking rolled 3 games in a row, and then he's not fun anymore.
And you're just like, why am I doing this?
But for me, I think I would like to see Doom nerfed somehow. Like maybe he can like get less gold or something. I don't know.
Doom?
That hero, dude. That hero has been first pick, first ban for fucking ever.
That's true. I feel like there's ways to play around him, but I guess if you have an
not
button
really,
where you can just silence somebody.
You really can't play around that hero. He's ridiculous.
I think
I guess
pick more. I would say I want to see a Lycan get some sort of.
I think Lycan. Honestly, I think Lycan is completely fine. I don't think Lycan. I think maybe he needs to be nerfed. Maybe the wolves are a little bit too strong. I think Lycan's pretty okay. Void, I'm sick of. Void just needs like longer CD on ult.
You know who I want to see more often actually is Zeus.
Yes.
I really enjoy watching.
I think that hero is really good in these kinds of games.
I thought the last buff was actually pretty good too.
Oh yeah.
Where you click the ground, but
True Sight's amazing.
I've seen him a little bit more, I guess, but not much.
He's been occasionally played. Wow, Maut, 10 out of 10.
Maybe if they upgrade his model.
Yeah, that would do it. Made him look less like Mario the Plumber.
His model looks nothing like it did in Dota, I think, or Dota 1.
I know, yeah, I really like the Dota one.
He's got like the hammer. Yeah, the dwarf.
Yeah.
The dwarf, whatever that hero's called.
He needs a rework. He just looks like some crazy ass Santa poser homeless man who happens to have had too much static electricity or something. I agree with that. He could use.
Have you guys seen Spider-Man, the latest one?
No.
None of you, seriously.
What's the guy's name? Is it Electro? I'm sure a viewer has seen it. Why don't you go ahead and just go on with the thought?
You guys know who Electro is? I didn't know who.
Yeah. I know of Electro.
So the way he looked in that movie, which was played by Jamie Foxx, he looked awesome.
Okay,
that'd be cool to have Zeus look like that. To be honest, that'd be really cool.
Remember the Marvel,
Razor looks similar, but
comic book wise, I don't know how he looked at in the movie, but he had like fucking a mask like this, some crazy shit. Did he look like that at all? No,
I don't think he had a mask. He was just like made of electricity.
I remember the old corny like '80s cartoon Electro. He had like fucking masquerade like this.
That's what Zeus is, but without the mask.
Yeah,
that's what he is.
All right, fair enough.
This is actually my other additional thing, which I'm gonna steal from someone in the chat, is they need to make mid less bottle crowy somehow. Mid has gotten mid is a disgusting lane now. It's like
you can't get rid of bottle crowing altogether.
You can't. No, you definitely can't get rid of it. But it's way too good right now. Mid is like just all about farming, nuking, bottle crowing, and stacking camps. Like it's not at all about like denying is not even important anymore.
Yeah.
Like ganking is not really a thing that.
But at
happens
the same time, it also opens up more heroes to play mid. So if you let's say you nerf it, then you're going to be seeing like Quap mid, which is be fine actually for that one. But Storm, Puck, it's like the same mids every game, as opposed to now where it's pretty much anybody there. I would like to see more dual lanes mid, to be honest.
Yeah, that'd be. I'd be about that. Also, dire side advantage for Broach or something. Just
I don't want to talk. Okay, don't get me off the tangent.
I don't think dire advantage is that big.
Don't you dare, Maut.
Why? What? What's
I
going
want the
on?
map to be symmetrical, man.
Shut
I
up.
mean, well,
I'm gonna hang up on you in this call. You're
For everyone who
That's why
says
I'm
Dire
gonna go
has a big
against it.
advantage, I think Radiant has a great laning advantage to counteract the Roche
But it's not an
advantage.
Is
even
that big
counteract at
enough?
all. It's just
It's like, okay, you won your
very
Radiant off
arbitrary.
lane, sort of, maybe. Like, how does that?
all right.
I
Just
don't know.
in the
Radiant
next
offlane,
5
dude,
years.
is way fucking better than Dire offlane.
I'm not
even
saying that
5
it's
years
not,
is
but it's a
remotely
laning
close.
phase against
Also,
like
the jump-
having guaranteed Roshan access at like
I don't know.
every 10 minutes.
I mean, yeah,
if
but
you're
right now
smart.
Dota's about the laning phase more than Roshan. I don't think Dire versus Radiant is that big of a deal.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of pro players that think differently, but
Well, they can suck my dick.
all right, that's all I wanted to
All right,
say.
we can hook you up at ESL, I guess.
Woo!
Oh.
Damn.
All
All
right.
right. Well, gentlemen,
Back.
any last questions that you want to pull out? We have time for maybe one more. Any last notes, thoughts, anything before we wrap things up here? Yeah. Greg, no, you're good. Maut?
Here's my brief teaser. If you guys have been in a Twitch chat with me lately, I've been very giddy about some certain things. Tomorrow or the next day, we're going to be announcing a tournament, and the prize pool is going to be $75,000, and that's what I'm going to tell you. And you should get really fucking excited.
Yes,
We are.
Pretty awesome stuff. An announcement of an announcement, a small teaser, but
I mean, that was more than an announcement of an announcement. I gave you the
I'm trying
prize.
to act surprised,
a
but
teaser.
Yeah, I know. I've been raging about you, raging at you about it. So
you've been raging everybody.
it's been a
Also,
rough week, dude.
shout outs to, of course, all the people that have been helping us doing stats. And let's see what else. Also, Canada Cup this week. We have it tomorrow at 6:30. I'll be there, and I currently am solo, but that might not be for long. Not that that's a problem. My solo casts are awesome.
Well, you're gonna get someone.
I mean,
I don't know if you saw SUNSFan's video we showed earlier, but you could have that with you if you'd like, just orgasmed. The chaos is breaking out, I guess.
What game? What game? What game is
game.
tomorrow? Anyways, let me
Hot
check.
hands warmers versus complexity.
How are you gonna turn down a team name like Hot Hands Hand Warmers? So that's a great team name. And also Saturday, Sunday, the 21st, we have a shit ton of Dota.
It's less now though, because one of the games on the 10 a.m. game on Sunday is now tomorrow night.
It also interferes with my football experience, which I find very displeasing. But that's
this is me caring. Yeah, I guess we should plug our own tournaments. At 1 o'clock on Sunday is going to be Dota Regions. We're going to be casting the grand finals, and I think it's twitch.tv/Dota Regions. God, I'm the fucking worst. And then we're going to be casting 2 best-of-3s of Canada Cup in a row on twitch.tv/Dota2 Canada Cup.
A lot of stuff to get hype about from us over on HighGroundTV. Of course, you can always check out our website and get more information about all the stuff to come and any sort of Dota content there. Shannon, SUNSFan, man, before we let you go, any last shout outs, anything you want to plug before we end the show?
just shout out to Gurgalicious. Really appreciate the support and using me as your, I don't know what to call it. You just vent to me all the time. By all means, just give
Dude,
it
it's
to
just
me. Give it
all
to me.
caps just slamming my keyboard, dude.
It fuels my fire too, because I actually found myself getting pretty frustrated with something similar in the past couple days, and I blame you. So thanks to Greg.
Before we go, we have to shout out to Kieran, who puts together our weekly info thread every week. This guy is amazing. Kieran, who has a Twitter, which is @mustwinfull, and we will post that in Twitch chat. Also, shout out to Sam, our producer today, who is, as always, amazing. Shout out to everybody here.
And the Fountain Dive, baby.
Yeah, Fountain Dive as well. Make sure you follow this Twitch channel. Check out fountaindive.com. If you'd like to write some great guides and help us out and help grow Fountain Dive as a whole, you can do that by heading over to fountaindive.com. Our Twitter should be on the screen, so if you're not already looking at them and following us, and if you have a Twitter, then that's a you problem, I guess. But that's about it, I think.
All right, and with that said, Maut did a great job wrapping things up, so we'll just go ahead and end the show on that note. This was True Sight, episode number 4. Thanks again, guys, Greg, Maut, and of course our special guest this week, Mr. SUNSFan, for showing up and hanging out with us. Next week, about the same time, we'll get the next episode underway, episode number 5, the new broadcast coming at you, and keep tabs with our Twitters to find out who the special guest may be that week, and we'll come back again with This Week in Dota. Thanks so much for coming by and hanging out, folks. Take care.